Welcome. So, this is like pushing hands, two-person practice, part 2. The first part was in 1989, believe it or not. So, what most people do when they do pushing hands is they just sort of connect, sort of, and mishmash, sort of, and nothing is ever actually broken down into specific things with specific names. But in temple-style Tai Chi, the two-person practices are just as organized as everything else, and more so organized with my approach. So, first thing we're going to do is single hand attaching, two-person. Single hand attaching is straight in, straight back, no circles. In arrow and bow stance, push off the back heel. Going back, push off the front toe. Never pick up your front toe. Since we have limited room for the camera shot, when we do change, we're going to change with change door. Not yet. There's breathing involved. Exhale forward, just like you're doing arrow and bow stance. Inhale back. You can do this at this pace, or you can slow it down. There's zero pressure at the point of contact. We're not on the back of the hands. That's how beginners do it. We're on the back of the wrist. Under normal circumstances, I would step forward, or he would step forward, and I would compensate by going backward. Now we're just going to change door. There's no tension in here. So when you do arrow and bow, you stretch it out almost to the point where the back knee locks, but not quite. Single hand attaching is straight forward, straight backward, no variations, no circles. Now, he pushes in, and now I do single hand push. He pushes in toward me, I negate and push. I push straight back, he pushes straight back, but I make a circle out of it. The other hand is cocked and ready position. If he pushes all the way into my chest, my body negates it. And remember, if I get hit in the chest or the torso, I don't care because I've got gold bell. So what is he going to... Do I care if he touches my torso? Couldn't care less. Now the rest of the world counts. Oh, you touched me. Oh, you could have hit me. That's retarded. That is pointless. Ridiculous. He pushes in, I negate. So if he pushes in really hard, when he makes the contact, I bounce his internal pressure to my back heel. It doesn't matter. We're not doing that. But if you do practice with strangers and they end up touching you, they go, "Oh, I got you." No, you didn't get me. I've been hearing that one since day one. So he pushes in, I negate. I push in, he negates. He pushes in, I negate. Where does the negation take place? The waist, the hips. I'm not moving my shoulder. Here's shoulder. That's not what I'm doing. That's what everybody else does. He pushes into here and I negate. Change door. So literally you could do pushing hands in a small bathroom. Alright, slow it down. He pushes in, I suck, I inhale. Now what about this height? It doesn't matter. If you lower your arm, I lower my arm. That's not important. And the next one is two-hand pushing hand using ward off and push. So I go to ward off, he does push. I negate, I do, slow down, let me explain this. I push in, he negates. He pushes in, I negate. He pushes in, I push in, he negates. He pushes in, I negate. So it's zero pressure. So he's actually pushing straight in, but I fold one, then I give him my wrist, so the pressure from here gets transferred to here, and I go into push, and he's now in ward off. Change door. So he does push, I do ward off, I negate, I do push, and then you adjust your stance. You stay close. Your feet overlap. This is all on my pushing hands tape from 1989. And I do have an insert that I'll put in here for 4 forms pushing hands using ward off, roll back, press and push in two-person practice. I already recorded that. So he pushes in, I negate. Now we're going to go to freestyle roll hands. So the way you connect to freestyle roll hands is when his hand comes up, we connect. Now when you do roll hands, you're not doing it with your hands like everybody else I see doing stuff like this. They're all doing this. No. When you do roll hands, you don't have hands. You're using from the wrist down. So it's as if you don't even have hands. And if we change direction or change arms or change anything, this is all taught on my two-person practice video from 1989. Slow down. So there's elbow fold. We're doing methods of forward and backward. They all have names. Change door. Back up. Attaching steps. The breathing stays slow regardless of how fast the body moves. Push off. I'm not going to demonstrate Dali because it's pointless. Nobody knows how to do it anyway. And freestyle martial art applications, I don't want to slam them into the ground, but they all come from these practices. For instance, you've got swallow up and spit out. Now this is, all of these practices are on my list in the Nagung Bible Chapter 1. If you want it, email it and I'll send it to you. Or you can buy it on Amazon. This is methods of separate and diffuse. This is separate and diffuse. Both directions. Separate and diffuse. Change door. This is methods of forward and backward, which is also called swallow up and spit out. Change door and change direction. This is methods of upward, downward. Change door, same direction. Change direction. So long before you do two-person practice with a partner, you learn the parts first. Very rarely will you run across somebody that knows how to do this with the parts. Change door. Then there's methods of inward and outward. So this is a very narrow path, but very wide. If my body wasn't moving, it would look like this. These are two-person practices. Change door, methods of inward and outward, and then reverse. Still methods of inward and outward. Change door, methods of inward and outward. Then there's elbow fold, methods of folding. And of course, there's both directions, methods of elbow folding. There's no specific name for right side, left side, inward, forward, all that. Change door. Backward. An elbow fold over the top. So you're in a roll hands when this happens. For instance, we're in a roll hands here, and when he comes in, elbow fold. This goes for the head. You don't really want to hit in the torso unless you've got a good reason to. But when the pressure comes in, my elbow folds. So not only does it fold this way, but it folds this way too. So back to freestyle roll hands. Whatever. This is an effortless practice, see? When you don't have an option. When somebody gives you something, from here I have play pee-pop. Bling! This way. But that's going to hurt his arm. Bad. So I go bling to here, inward holding tiger into the neck, and then of course my specialty is for a throw. All this is taught on my two-person practice from 1989. Thank you, Larry. My website is qigong.com, spelled C-H-I-K-U-N-G, and my phone number is 312-446-8218. Thank you.